Hello guys and welcome back. If you are new around here, I cover mostly Australian true crime cases and today we are covering a solved case. So having said all that, let's get right into today's video. In November of 2010, Nona Bellomassoff was an 18-year-old TAFE student from Cecil Hills in Sydney. Described as shy and bashful with a quirky sense of humour by family, she was also known by those that knew her as a huge animal lover. So much so that she was doing an animal studies course at TAFE. One day in February of 2012, Nona received a Facebook friend request from a man named Jason Green. Nona did not know who this man was. She accepted the friend request anyway, and 20-year-old Jason Green sent Nona a message not long after this. He began the conversation by telling Nona all about how he was the team leader at the New South Wales-based animal rescue service called WIRES, which stands for Wildlife Information Rescue and Education Services, and how he was keen to offer her a job rescuing wildlife. Of course, Nona, being such a keen lover of animals, was thrilled and excited at this offer. She was keen to take him up on it. Nona's brother Gary stated that she saw this as an opportunity to follow her dream of helping animals. Nona said that if she didn't go, she would lose her job, and this was her dream job. Due to Nona's enthusiasm, Jason quickly arranged for the pair to meet and for Nona to start her training with WIRES. Nona met up with Jason in bushland in Lima near Campbelltown, New South Wales to begin her training. The pair met up 5 times between May 6 and May 10 in the same bushland location to carry out her WIRES training. During one of their final training sessions, Jason blindfolded Nona and tied her hands behind her back, but when he noticed that Nona was understandably visibly upset by this, he stopped and explained to her that this was part of the self-defense part of training for WIRES. Nona told her family about this incident due to how unusual it was, but despite this, she continued to meet up with Jason for training. After all, this was Nona's dream job, and a little bump in the road was not going to get in her way. On the 12th of May 2012, Nona was preparing for her last training session with WIRES. This particular training session was an overnight training camp. Nona rarely had nights away from home, so this was a new and exciting experience for her. It was set to be located in a remote area of Smith Creek Reserve, so at about the same area as all the other training sessions had occurred, around Lima bushland. Jason had told Nona that at their final training session, there would be other upcoming employees of WIRES there for the overnight training camp. But when Nona arrived at their usual meeting spot to meet Jason, no one else was there. The next day, Nona did not return home from her final training session. Nona, who lived with her parents and, as I said, rarely had nights away, had informed her parents where she was going and when she would be back. When she did not return when she said she would, they became very concerned. Nona's family reported her missing on the 14th, 2 days after her overnight training camp was set to begin. That same day, police arrested Jason Green. And as it turned out, Jason Green was in fact 20-year-old Christopher Denevig. It turned out that there was no one named Jason Green that worked at WIRES as a team leader. And Facebook was not the first time that Christopher Denevig had encountered Nona. He had first encountered her on the dating website Oasis Active. This is where he learned about Nona's love and passion for animals. Nona's dating profile also stated that she loved music, art, photography, and of course animals. It wasn't long after this that Denevig created the Facebook profile Jason Green and added Nona on there and began chatting to her using the knowledge that he had learnt about her on the dating website to gain her trust and offer her a job with Wires. So just a little about Chris Denevig. He didn't have the best of upbringings. His medical record stated past issues with depression, self-harm, substance abuse, as well as displaying aggressive behaviors towards others. Denevig also had troubles when it came to forming relationships with women, often being aggressive and violent towards his partners. At just 16 years old, he was arrested for pulling a knife on a woman. This would not be the last time an incident like this would occur, a point I'll get back to in just one moment. As I said just a moment ago, Denevig encountered Nona on this dating website, and his profile on Oasis Active was not the only profile he had across several different dating websites. His profile on Oasis Active described him as a sports fan who played guitar and was just looking for the right girl for him, someone that would like him for him, and someone that he could trust. Oh, and that his favourite ice cream was chocolate. Good to know. Basically, he was painting himself as your average, normal, down-to-earth, nice guy, just looking for the right woman for him, a woman he could trust, and whatever else is stereotypical to expect or want or write on dating websites. So back to the arrest of Denevig on May the 14th. He told police that he had not seen Nona since May the 10th, but he also had no solid alibi for the time that she went missing. Upon further investigation, police saw that Nona's bank account had been accessed on the evening of May the 12th, which was the same evening that her overnight training camp was meant to begin. Her card had been used at the Lima train station, so of course police accessed the CCTV footage from the train station, and they saw none other than Chris Denevig using Nona's card. He withdrew $170 with the PIN number he got off Nona that she had given him on the pretense that she was going to be a paid employee of Wires. And before anyone comments, no, of course you don't need to provide your PIN number, your bank card PIN number, to a potential employee. However, let's remember that Denevig was a manipulator, and we don't know what information he told Nona to extract this type of information from her. When police told Denevig this information about seeing him on the CCTV footage using Nona's bank card, he said, well, he admitted to simply stealing her purse after learning what her PIN number was. Investigators continued to probe Chris Denevig, and it didn't take long at all before he agreed to lead investigators to Nona's body. Police were led to Smith Creek Reserve, where they found Nona's body partially submerged in the creek. She was fully clothed and her belongings were scattered nearby. According to Denevig, what happened on the night that Nona died was that the pair were sitting on the creek bed when out of nowhere he blacked out. He said that when he came to, Nona was lying face down in the water. Chris said he stared at her lifeless body for less than 2 minutes but made no attempt to pull her out the water. Chris said he then took Nona's bank card and left. As Chris Denevig sat in prison after his arrest, he spoke with another fellow inmate about the reason that he was there, and the story he told this inmate was just slightly different from what he had told the police. Chris said himself and Nona got into an argument at the campout, and that's when he pushed her into the creek. Nona fell back and hit her head on the creek rocks, and that's when Chris decided to hold Nona's head under the water for 2 minutes until she drowned. In this confession, he offered no reason whatsoever as to why he decided to hold Nona's head underwater and drown her. But as it turned out, this inmate was actually an undercover police officer, and this whole confession had been caught on tape. In court, Chris Denevig pled guilty to killing Nona Belimisoff. His lawyer, Philip Young, asked the judge to take into account his client's intellectual disabilities. The court heard that before Nona's death, Denevig had been treated for mental health issues. His lawyer stated regarding this information, "He is not functioning on the level that 99% of the community are functioning." Justice Hall's response to this argument was that Denevig demonstrated complete understanding of what he was doing and used a strategy of deception and lies when luring Nona into the remote bushland area for the training. Justice Hall did not believe that Denevig's intellectual disability or mental illness impaired his understanding of right from wrong. His lawyer claimed that Denevig was remorseful for his actions and argued that Nona's killing was not premeditated, despite 5 separate trips with Jason in bushland disguised as training before her death, and the fake Facebook profile. Justice Hall stated that he believed that Denevig only formed the plan or formed the idea to kill Nona once they were in remote bushland for the bogus overnight training camp. It's not believed that before this point he had made any sort of definite decision to kill Nona. Chris Denevig, however, at no point made it clear as to why he carried out the actions that he did. It was also revealed in court that Chris Denevig was on parole at the time that he killed Nona for kidnapping a 15-year-old, threatening her with a knife, and taking her into bushland in Casula, New South Wales. The young girl managed to luckily break free and reported the incident to police. Denevig was sentenced to 2 years in jail over the incident, but he served 6 months. When Denevig first encountered Nona on the dating site Oasis Active, he had been released on parole only 8 days previous. The condition of his parole was that he undergo counselling. It would only be 3 months between Denevig's release from prison and Nona's death. And the judge, Justice Peter Hall, stated that Denevig had committed a most heinous crime against a completely vulnerable and defenseless young woman. Chris Denevig was sentenced to 27 years in jail with a non-parole period of 21. Justice Hall also gave him a parole period of 7 years to allow for Denevig to be under heavy monitoring for a prolonged period of time upon his release back into the community. And he will be eligible for parole in 2032, which is not as far away as it seems, unfortunately. A Facebook spokesperson actually did release a statement regarding Nona's death, which stated, "This case serves as a painful reminder that all internet users must use extreme caution when contacted over the internet by people they do not know. We echo the advice of the police who urge people not to meet anyone they have been contacted by online unless they know for certain who they are, as there are unscrupulous people in this world with malevolent agendas." And that seems to be a good place to end today's case. Thank you so much for being here and for listening to Nona's story. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And just a quick reminder, I have a Google Docs form in my description below where you can request a case. Until next time, stay vigilant online and stay safe online, and I will see you very soon. Bye.